Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Aryan Tarani. I'm the Director of Talent Acquisition for all of our tech teams here at Conde Nast. If you're not familiar with Conde Nast is a global media organization. We are home to some of the most well-known brands in the market, like Vogue, GQ, Vanity Fair, The New Yorker, um, Bon Appetit, and a number of other brands out there. We operate in about 35 different countries across the globe, and we've undergone a massive digital transformation over the last few years, heavily investing in ad tech, martech, and video. And it's kind of highlighted a little bit in terms of our global outreach in the next slide. Meg, if you want to jump to the next one. So diversity and inclusion is at the forefront of everything that we do. With our global integration, we recently merged our Condé Nast International and US environments, and we've in addition to the ERGs that we currently have in place, like the Women's Network at Condé Nast, Asians at Condé Nast, Conexión, which is our Latinx network, as well as Noir and Pride at Condé Nast, which is our Black Employee Resource Group with Noir, and our LGBTQIA resource group. We've also globalized all of those ERGs this year, and we're planning on also expanding into an environmental resource group and a group that's focused on supporting parents at work as well. We are hiring across all areas of our business, from tech, ops, legal, consumer marketing, and sales. So, I'm very excited to be a part of this and to welcome all of you here today. And if you have any questions, I'm definitely available. So appreciate it all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Aryan. All right, I'm going to remove your spotlight, and then we're going to go next to Dassault Systems. Michael, I'm going to turn the floor over to you.
Hi, great. Thank you, everybody, and welcome. Thanks for being here today. I also just want to take a quick minute to recognize and think about all of those folks in the Ukraine and what they're dealing with, as well as so many of the people of Russia are not for what's going on in the world. So thinking about them as well. Thank you for having us again, I should say, or having Dassault Systems with Power to Fly. We love our partnership with Power to Fly. If you don't know anything about Dassault Systems, we are a company that's known as the platform, the 3D experience company. We harmonize product, nature, and life. And everybody will say, what is that? And it's very hard to describe in a short amount of time or short period. What we do is we have 13 different brands across 11 industries, and it covers every aspect from consumer packaged goods to transportation and mobility. We started out in aerospace and defense, life sciences, and we provide a software service and platform that really helps companies do everything in real time across the board. We are over 22,000 employees globally with over 160 locations worldwide. We are looking to grow our population to about over 44,000 between 2023 and 2025. In terms of, do I have a next slide on here, Meg? Fantastic. So one of the things that we're trying to do is we do grow a lot through mergers and acquisitions. So as we increase the population that we currently have, we are looking to increase our diversity efforts and really create an enriched culture of diversity. We are a French-owned organization, and in France, it's a little bit more of the male-female dynamic, meaning in terms of equity in gender. And what we're trying to do now is create more ERGs so that we are recognizing all groups of people. And so from gender to ethnicity to career level to the LGBTQ+ community, we're working with, we acquired a company called Medidata, which is in our life sciences space. And Medidata has a very robust diversity and inclusion program. So we're trying to mirror that as we're integrating them to add to the current ERGs that we have. We have two current ERGs. One is for Pride and one is for the Women's Initiative. So we're continuing to grow that. We're hiring in all aspects, whether you're looking for a great career in sales. I happen to handle more G&A, so I do a lot in finance, some in marketing. We have folks in engineering, so we have folks that are going to be represented today in the software engineering. We have somebody else that will be in a marketing room. So wherever your passion and your career lies, I highly suggest that you visit our career page and reach out to any one of us directly. But we look forward to talking and getting a chance to work with you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Michael. All right, so moving on from Dassault Systems, we are going to speak with Janet Hastings from Spectrum. Janet, would you like to tell people a little bit more about your amazing company? Oh, Janet, we might have you on mute here.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you are.
Okay, great. A little bit about the company. I am part of Spectrum Enterprise, and we are the fiber side of Charter Communications. So Charter Communications is the company and Spectrum Enterprise is the brand. I work in the sales organization, so I recruit salespeople across the country to join the team and sell our products from managed services to fiber internet access. So it's an exciting and much needed product in today's virtual world.
Very cool, Jen. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience about Spectrum? Culture, values, anything along those lines?
Absolutely. So in terms of the organization, we actually have an internal website called Career Forward, which helps to create a pathway for your personal career progression. You can look at the different groups. We do a lot of internal promotions. We have 3 corporate headquarters, one in Charlotte, one in Stamford, Connecticut, and one in Baldwin, Missouri. So people move from non-sales to sales roles, and then also career pathing within the sales organization. We have 6 different sales teams within the Spectrum Enterprise sales organization. So they range from inside sales to mid-market to channel to major accounts, vertical sales, specializing in government education, hospitality, and selling all that fiber connectivity into those different size businesses.
Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing that, Janet.
Is there anything
else you'd like to share before we move to our next company?
One of the great benefits of working for Spectrum Enterprise or Charter Communications is that it is an all-encompassing culture. The company provides a very robust benefits package to the employees from 9 years in a row where they have absorbed the increase in the premium for our health insurance, to providing us with a retirement package where they will contribute up to dollar for dollar up to 6% for 401k. Plus, we have what we call a retirement accumulation plan. And that is an automatic 3% given to every employee from the company. And if you're in our footprint, you get a cable, home internet, and home phone package as part of your benefits. So that's an even nicer perk with all the premium channels. So it's a great place to work, a lot of internal movement opportunities from the enterprise group, even over to our other business units in mobile, in residential, in advertising or Spectrum Reach group, and our cable news network channel.
Very cool. Oh, awesome. I love learning more about our partner companies. So thank you so much, Janet.
You are
And my
welcome.
cousin actually has cable TV and loves your service. So thanks again.
Good,
For that.
good.
Yeah. Okay, so that wraps up for Spectrum. Next, we're going to hear about Sun Life from Bill Dobby. Bill, would you like to come off mute and tell all of our people more about your amazing org?
Great. Yes, thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for taking the time to visit with us. My name is Bill Dobie, and I'm part of the talent acquisition team here at Sun Life. And while you read through this, this first slide, I just would like to introduce some of the folks on the Sun Life panel here today. So we have Mark Warrington, and he's the US sales leader and the senior vice president of group distribution. We have Trina Hernandez, who is a director of client relationship services. And she's also a co-chair of one of our inclusion network groups. We have Kisa Gallus, who is a senior director in our prospect center. And she's actually one of the original members of our Allies Acting for Change task force. And Wendy Farinacci, who is a colleague of mine on our talent acquisition team. And so I'm not going to read this slide verbatim, but I will say that I've worked at multiple companies over the years, and I've been here at Sun Life for 6 years. This is by far the most collaborative and engaged company that I've worked for. And we live in a work environment here with multiple collaboration tools. We look to hire highly collaborative people. We run US town halls monthly. We have an agile work environment, and we're a company that was very remote work friendly even prior to the pandemic. So flexible work arrangements were not new to us. Next slide, please. Culture and values. You'll see that we have multiple values that we live by in our day-to-day work as individuals and teams. Our overarching values revolve around integrity, honesty, and professionalism. And within those values, our engagement of our workforce, a customer focus, which actually begins with having a keen focus on our employees, because we believe that if we take care of our employees will take care of our customers. They'll strive for excellence, deliver value, drive innovation by truly listening to what our clients need. And actually, I want to pivot for a second here. We'll stay on this slide, but if it's okay, Kisa Gallus, I'd like her to provide some insight into our DE&I efforts and our Allies Acting for Change task force.
Yes, absolutely. I'd love to. Hello, all. Thanks for having us. Kisa Gallus here. So I just wanted to take a quick moment to talk about our Allies Acting for Change, AAC, as we like to call it. And so it's a task force that was created at Sun Life US in June of 2020. And it was really created to drive forward actions to dismantle racial injustice, systemic racism, and institutionalized equality that we were seeing in our world. And as Bill said, I was blessed enough to be a founding member. And so what we did is that we made a number of recommendations that really fell into two buckets. So the first bucket was retention. How can we mentor, employee development, networking, and proactive stay conversations? And then the other bucket was recruitment, transparent reporting, hiring diverse candidates, partnerships just like this one, and active change management to eliminate bias. And so some of the examples that we put in place was, for example, Kaleidoscope for all of our employees. And so this is an awesome on-learning platform that introduces great topics like how to be an ally, or how can you become anti-racist? And it really helped create conversations inside and outside of the company on these really important topics. We also were committed to creating a diverse job candidate slate. So that means anytime we hire for a position, we require the interview slate to be 50% female and 50% persons of color. And so if we don't meet that criteria, we are required to seek approval with our business leaders to make the hire. So we're really putting accountability into action, which I just really love. And it's another thing that it's wonderful because our senior leadership team has given us their full support with funding and organizational change management. And the AAC also partners and works closely with many of our inclusion networks. So some of them include our Black Excellence Alliance, our Asian American Heritage Association, and Sun Life Pride Network, just to name a few. We have a ton of them. And so really what it comes down to is Sun Life is committed to making an impactful change, not only now, but for many years to come. And really as an employee, as a woman and a person of color, this means so much to me personally. So if you have any questions about DE&I that Sun Life is supporting, please just let me know. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Kisa. Do we have another minute, moderator?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So Mark Warrington, our leader for sales in the US. Mark, if you could just talk about a sales career here. Mark and I work together pretty well as I handle a lot of the recruiting across the country.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Hello, everybody. Mark Warrington with Sun Life. Really appreciate your time. As you can tell, our company is very collaborative and it allows people to speak from the heart. And if you don't believe that, you just heard from Kisa, and I can promise you that was not scripted at all. My job is I run the sales organization here at Sun Life. We are very proud to partner with our friends at Power to Fly. And the career of sales in the insurance business, there are so many paths within insurance that all I would say is if you have interest and you can join the breakout room, happy to answer any questions related to it, because insurance has hundreds of different avenues. I would not put a broad brush on it, and I would not make any assumptions until you find out if you have interest. So we're here to help, and we're here to answer any questions, and really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you. That was so great. Anything else from Sun Life before we keep moving? Don't let me hurry you, by the way. I'm just trying to make sure everybody's like good about where we are in the meeting so far.
Sure. I don't know if Wendy or Trina would like to jump in and talk about anything that they're working on. If not, we can move on.
No, I think we got it covered.
Good for right now, right?
All right. Thank you very much.
It seems that we don't have the sound. Do we have Megan?
Dear Lord, I'm sorry, y'all. This is what I get for being overconfident about my hosting skills. Yeah,
All right.
Julia Johansson, if you want to come off mute and share more about ServiceNow with the group, please feel free.
Hi, everyone. I'm Julia Johansson, and I work with ServiceNow. So ServiceNow essentially specializes in creating a cloud-based platform and solutions to deliver digital workflows that create great experiences and unlock productivity for employees and enterprises. We actively partner with over 7,400 customers that serve approximately 80% of Fortune 500 companies, and we're currently on the 2021 list for Fortune's World's Most Admired Companies, which is something that we're super proud of. ServiceNow was founded in 2003 by former Peregrine Systems CTO Fred Lundy, and essentially evolved throughout 2005 and 2007 with only 10 employees up to raising 4.1 million in Series D funding. We also brought on customers around that time, including Deschutes Bank, Intel, as well as McDonald's. And then by 2012, ServiceNow went public. And so since then, we've been growing rapidly. We grew from 2019 with around 10,000 employees to 2020 with 14,000 employees or so. Within ServiceNow, we have an extremely strong commitment to diversity, equity, and belonging. It's an essential core feature of who we are as an organization. Some key highlights around that include that we have achieved systemic pay equity. Because pay equity is so dynamic, especially in high growth companies, we manage it on an ongoing basis and do regular analysis as well as adjustments. This approach has led us to achieve systemic pay equity company-wide and ensures that we maintain pay equity on an ongoing basis that's consistently being reevaluated within the pay equity program that we have going on. And then through fair system of opportunity and treatment of all, we do create a movement of change. This fairness is applied to every moment that matters for employees and their families, as well as customers and communities, to help advance the conversation. Always a moving conversation within ServiceNow, and it's an amazing environment to have a safe space to be able to do so.
Very cool. Thank you so much. I'm flipping to your next slide now. Do you have anything else you'd like to add there?
Sure. So in terms of ServiceNow and values, some of our values that are extremely important to us do include when as a team, we always want to be working collaboratively together. And we truly believe that as we all share the same goals and have clear roles in achieving them, anything is possible within ServiceNow. We see, bridges to be able to bridge gaps rather than barriers and walls. So that way we are able to cross them together and bring and deliver brilliant results as a team every single time. We also strive to always wow our customers. Customers are essentially at the center of our world. That's the product that we're creating is ultimately to make our customers' lives easier. And so we're working to tirelessly deliver the best product and experience possible for them. Through innovation, that's an integral part of our success too. So that the biggest challenges are, the greatest opportunities that we are able to meet. In addition to that, we are constantly striving to create belonging. As I mentioned, the diversity, equity, and inclusion, is a consistent forefront of some of the breakthroughs that we're working to make within ServiceNow. Always work to lead with empathy and understanding, which means listening, so that way we can act with compassion and create a space in which everyone feels at home. And then lastly, we're always striving to stay hungry as well as humble. Our best work is what we're doing next. So we definitely don't take success for granted. Always working to be ready and to grow and evolve with fresh ideas and new perspectives.
That's amazing to hear, Julia. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Okay, if there's nothing else from our partner companies, then I'm really excited to move on into our Q&A portion of today's event. So let me stop sharing my screen here. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be spotlighting all of our company reps here. So give me a second here while I go through and add all of our various spotlights. But we have a couple of questions that were submitted in the group chat, as well as some questions. There we go. As well as some questions that were submitted when people registered for today's event. So I'm going to try and get through a couple of those. If y'all have questions that you would like to ask of one of our partner companies here, please feel free to. You can do that you can add questions into the chat box. If you would like, I will be pulling questions out of there to present to our companies up on stage right now. And if we are not able to get to your question, many apologies. We get a lot of really great questions throughout these events. So if we're not able to get to yours, please know that you are more than welcome and very much encouraged to reach out to people in so sorry, I just completely undid all my spotlighting. Sorry. You're more than welcome to reach out to any of the company reps that you see in the room today. You can also ask your question in the breakout rooms once you get there. So until we get to breakout rooms, I ask that, Jesus guys, I keep doing it, I'm so sorry. As we get into breakout rooms, I just ask that, y'all stay on mute until we get into breakout rooms. Breakout rooms are where you will be able to ask your questions directly to the teams. There will be a Powerfly person in every breakout room to help monitor this and help keep everything running smoothly. If you have additional questions for us about that, just let us know in the group chat down there. I'm more than happy to make that happen for all of you. Okay, so jumping into our questions that we have for the entire panel. One of the ones that we got asked several times that I think is really important to address is regarding age discrimination and what experiences are like at various companies for applicants who are, I think it's a really crappy number to say 50 is old, but like 50 and over. So if this is something that Powerfly is especially passionate about, not only on behalf of the more experienced workers in our midst, but also for the reason that diversity, equity, and inclusion doesn't stop at visible diversity, right? There's a whole host of other things that go into that, whether it is diversity of socioeconomic background, culture, religion, neurodiversity. There's a whole lot of things there that, and I didn't even scratch the surface. So one of the things I'm going to present this question to our panelists. If you want to come off mute and answer it, please feel free to do so. If someone else is already answering the question and you want to make sure that you get to answer it for your organization, great, use the raise your hand feature, and that way I'll be able to call on everybody in order. You don't have to comment on every question if you don't want to. And yeah, we'll just keep going through this. We'll do this for the next, 27 minutes, and then we will move into our breakout sessions for the day. So first question, like I said, we want to talk a little bit about age discrimination, or what diversity at your org looks like in terms of the age spread for your employees. Are there gaps that you are looking to fill? How is that addressed at your various groups? Would anyone like to come off mute and be the first one to address this from the company's perspective?
I'll go if you want.
Yeah, please feel free.
So, it's an area, one of the pillars that we're working on in terms of ERGs is generations. But I feel this is an area where we're pretty, I think, even keel. We have longevity of a lot of folks, like myself, I happen to be a man over 50. So I think it's an area where we're doing pretty well in terms of having an equal number of more junior folks and some more senior folks. I don't feel it's an issue for us. I think that we probably need to bring in more folks on the junior level, train them and give them the development that we need, as we're probably going to see a lot of folks retire in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, that's a very real thing. I was talking with a partner company a couple of months ago, and one of the things they talked about, especially from an HR perspective, was that we are looking at the largest single batch of the most representation that we've ever had in the working, among working people across age groups, right? We've got boomers all the way down to, some of the Gen Zers are already, nipping at our heels. So, it's really interesting to know that companies are looking into this and really considering it. So thank you, Michael, for that response. Would any of the other partner companies like to address this? If not, I'm fine to keep moving on. We've got a ton of questions we can answer. Just want to give y'all the opportunity to, share what's great about your org. As we move through here. And Michael, we are getting comments in the chat saying Max especially admires the hire juniors to train up for longevity mindset. I think that is something that was at one point a very big part of most companies' ideology. And since we've got so many people job hopping, I feel like that's kind of gotten lost a little bit. So it's nice to know that Dassault is looking at that.
Yeah, and if there's one other thing I could comment on, I think there had been another question about if the recruiters and the hiring managers have the same mindset. You know, I think we all know, we can say that we're not discriminatory, but you know, anybody can say that, and you know, you have assumptions that you make every day. So somebody could get a resume and certainly assume that somebody might be more experienced than what they want or what they're looking for. One of the things, and we're not there yet, that we would love to try to implement is a resume without somebody's name. I'm sorry, with just their name, without their address, without their, you know, where they went to school, so that we can do a little bit more blanket recruiting in terms of you're just seeing the person's skill set. And I think we talked about taking name off as well, because we wanted from a gender perspective to not just to see the person's skills. So take out gender, take out location, take out graduation for age. So it is something that we are aware of, and we're trying to do things in the future that will work on that. I think everybody kind of, you know, whether it's a hiring manager or a recruiter, comes into a situation with their own biases, and everything we're doing is to try to overcome and educate people to get them over those biases.
Thank you, Michael, for addressing that. You're right. We all have, you know, implicit or unconscious biases. I've definitely heard of other companies who are also going to a, it's not anonymized, but you're right, like a more stripped down version of, you know, of those resumes, which I honestly cannot recommend strongly enough. You know, when I got married, my last name changed from an M to an A, and I saw an immediate return on like much more calls, you know, calls back on when I submitted resumes, all that kind of stuff. So everything from, you know, randomizing your sorting as opposed to sorting alphabetically. You know, even though I am at the beginning of the alphabet now, it's garbage. I shouldn't get more calls because my last name starts with an A. It's garbage. So, you know, anything that we can see along those lines that really makes the hiring process more equitable is fabulous. Love to see it. So thank you for that. Ariane, I see. Yeah,
Meg,
please.
This is Mark Warrington at Sun. Do you mind if I just say a couple
Yeah,
things? As a follow-up?
please. Yeah,
I
don't
thought
let me
Michael-
talking. Yeah, please feel free to interrupt me, y'all. You get the floor. I talk way too much. Please go.
I thought, first of all, I thought Michael's comments were terrific. So I just wanted to say a couple things just about Sun related to this topic. And I would expect this particularly for some of the big names that are at this job fair today. DE&I was not popular at many companies until recent history. It is very popular at Sun, and it is very popular at many of these companies that are on this board. We almost feel a little bit kind of weird that other companies have all of a sudden joined what many of these companies started many moons ago. And so I thought I'd make it just a couple comments just about, I'll just say resumes. So for those you don't know, the buck stops for me. I'm the one who says yes or no. And I need help in people like Bill and other folks like that to just kind of do some screening. But one of the things that there's not one resume in the world measures is what's underneath inside in terms of guts, determination, persistency, and that you want to work. And there's not one resume that does that. And what we're looking for are people that have what's not on the resume. I've never seen a resume that was poorly done, because at my level, I wouldn't see something like that. But there is not one person in the world that's going to show up in today's environment, with the way things are, so much preparation, with a piece of paper, so to speak, that is poorly done. But what I can't measure is what's inside here and what's underneath your skin in terms of heart and determination. And that's what all these employers, quite honestly, are looking for. And if you don't think we're not starving for really top talent, you're kidding yourself. We're not here for fun. We're here to find people who really have what's underneath the skin. And we don't care what color your skin is. We don't care what your background is. I don't personally care if you finished college or you stuttered your way through it or you didn't finish at all. It makes no difference. What I'm most interested in is, what do you want to do, and what culture and environment do you have to be that you can handle? Now, in my universe of sales, we're a combination management style of supportive and accountability. because we have a score that we have to hit all the time. So there's the accountability. You can't hide in sales. But supportive means you've got to help people who've never been in the business before understand what it means to close a relationship gap and just make a relationship over time. So I can keep going forever, but I just wanted to make a couple comments that you really have some first-class companies that culture-wise, they were popular way before the popularity happened. And you should feel really good about being at a fair like this because there's some really top talent. So I just appreciate your time. And I just thought I'd make a mention of that because I see too many people trying to, don't be scared of what your resume is. Just get yourself on the phone to tell people who you are.
Mm-hmm. I
So
love
I'll
it.
stop there and I
The
appreciate the time.
chat's blowing up, Mark. Like pretty much everybody wants to work for you in Sun Life. So I feel a little bit bad that, you know, you've set a very high bar for other people to follow. So this is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That was absolutely wonderful. All right. Do we have anybody else from the companies that wants to share anything on this question, or do we want to keep moving? Keep moving. All right, let's keep moving. Okay, we had a lot of people that had questions about how either people that have taken career breaks or people who are in career transitions are handled at various companies. So would anybody want to give us maybe a high level overview of, you know, are there transition programs that y'all have in place? Do y'all have like a returnship situation happening? Is this something that you've got in the works that you're trying to put together, you know, for future use? What does this look like? You know, what do people that have career breaks in their history or are transitioning between careers, what does that look like, you know, when they approach your org? Let's see, Julia, do you want to come off mute and address this question? Not to put you on the spot. I just saw you were off mute.
Oh, no, disregard the mute section, but if you wouldn't mind repeating it again for me, that would be much appreciated.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of people are in either a period of people that have career breaks. I mean, I'm also within that group, or people who have transitioned between multiple careers, whether they are in process now or, you know, have made the transition but are still like new into that new field. So if somebody were to apply to roles with, let's say, ServiceNow, with either you know, a career break on their resume or a transition, how is that handled? As you know, what does ServiceNow think, or how do you approach those individuals?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, within ServiceNow, you know, we are just approaching every resume review with the understanding that life is life and that people are people. There's a lot that kind of goes in behind the scenes in every single person's day-to-day, whether that be, you know, they start a family, they take care of a loved one, they have something going on with health. And I think that everyone can relate to a circumstance in which they needed to take a step back from a career in order to be able to make a step forward in their personal life and make sure that all their ducks are aligned in that space. And so I think it's important to mention that when reviewing resumes, we work to evaluate every single profile with the understanding that life is life, and that somebody's skill set is not determined by a gap within experience.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Julia. Janet, do you want to chime in on behalf of Spectrum? And I'm answering questions in the chat thread here along the way, so apologies if I don't look super engaged, but we're trying to make sure we get to everybody's questions. Janet, please feel free.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, a few years ago, we had a 3-week training program for our sales organization. And probably about a year ago, we changed it to a 12-week training program. So we can bring people in who don't have the wireline side of the business for the sales organization and really train them up. If they've got good sales acumen, if they've got, like Mark was saying, that drive, that grit, that desire to succeed, we can bring them in, teach them the products. it's an intermittent training program. So they are not totally immersed in training for 12 weeks. They do like maybe 1 week of virtual instructor-led training, and then they are in the field applying what they've learned. We have sales enablement managers that work with them. They're like sales coaches throughout their first year and beyond. If they're having a certain issue with a product, if it's with part of the sales process. So I think learning and development is really key when you're looking at returning to the workforce, is joining a company that invests in their people and develops them.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Janet. That was really, really good to know. Would anyone else like to comment on this before we move to our next question?
Hey, Meg, if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind jumping in on this.
Yeah, go for it.
Had something relevant happen over the weekend. So I read a great article about this. It was called Holy Gap, and it was in HR Brew, it's called. And the short of it is that many employers, Sun Life included, are looking more favorably on folks who take a break from work. And it cited a recent LinkedIn study that nearly half of employers believe candidates with career breaks are an untapped talent pool to be explored. And the stigma that was previously associated with resume gaps has shifted with the current labor shortage, right? And the pandemic's personal toll on workers. It's made us more receptive to applicants with gaps in their employment. And then there was another study from LinkedIn where nearly 2/3, it was like 62% of employers have taken a break at some of employees, have taken a break at some point in their professional career. Just over 35% were women, and they'd like to take a break in the future. Let's face it, time off can be helpful to re-energize and maybe even refocus on your career.
I love that. And, I'm reminded powerfully of, a speaker we had over this past week talking about LinkedIn made an announcement that they are going to be putting on a new feature on their profiles so that you can call out your break. And you can highlight that because, Bill's absolutely right. The pandemic has highlighted this, but it's been the case forever, right? People who have career breaks they don't stop living when you're not doing a job. You're constantly either working on or using skills that you honed in the office, or skills that you develop because you are a person who exists in the world. And those soft skills are just as important as a lot of hard skills. You can train people to do a lot of different things, but if you don't have patience for customer service, if you are somebody that like very much needs to like be running 17 things at once and you thrive on that chaos, that's something that cannot necessarily be taught. So, definitely value those skills. And thank you so much to our partner companies here for, calling out that these things are incredibly valuable. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes, a little less than 10 minutes left in today's session. So I want to make sure we get to a couple more questions here. We did have a lot of people asking about, let's see, where did we go here? So if people, hold on here, I'm so sorry, y'all, I just lost the question. Oh, a lot of people had questions about like what the management style is at certain orgs. If y'all are subscribed to a specific management style, I think that's something that would be helpful for people to know. Or, maybe if you could give us a high level overview of what, what does like internal development look like at your company? What kind of continuing education, what kind of training do you provide for employees to keep them not only growing in their positions with you all, but growing throughout their careers? Let's see, who haven't we heard from yet? Let's see.
I was just going to mention, I had mentioned it earlier, that Career Forward, which was something that we did a survey, and we found that employees were saying they didn't know how to grow their careers or what types of positions were out there for them within the organization to stay within the organization and move up. So we created on our internal website a platform called Career Forward, where they can really see everything is mapped. so they can see what positions there are and how they can get to those positions and what skills they need so they can work on those. And then we have another program called Accelerate You that provides them with the training or the funding for the training in order to get to those different roles. So internal development.
I love that. Thank you. Anybody else? Arian, do you want to chime in on this?
Yeah, I can jump in quickly, and similar to what Janet just said, we last year we hired a new global L&D team here at Conde, and we've brought in resources from Cornerstone, and similarly, if you can access, well, all employees here at Conde Nast can access a number of modules around, transitioning to management or learning and leading teams, if that's kind of the route that you want to go to. We also provide a number of learning opportunities and kind of panel discussions that our ERG groups host on a monthly basis. We're bringing in certain speakers around topics. Today we had one from an expert in the NFT and metaverse space and how that's kind of transitioning into the formalized workforce. So we here at Conde on a monthly basis, we're always bringing in external speakers and panelists through the relationships that we have with our brands, and it's really created kind of an environment where people can bounce ideas off each other and foster innovation. So
that is great. We're getting amazing feedback in the channel or in the chat here, both from what Janet had said as well as Arian. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see. We've got about 6 minutes left before we need to shift into our breakout sessions. So let's see here. Okay, we're gonna go with a popcorn round here. Let's talk about what's coming up at your various companies. What is something that's going to be happening soon, whether it's maybe a project that's coming up or an employee program that's getting started, something. What is most exciting that's happening right now at your company? What are you really looking forward to and excited to see start getting implemented?
So I can kick off quickly. This is actually a really good timing. We just launched our internship program applications yesterday. It was a massive effort that we brought back last year after about a 10-year hiatus here at Conde Nast. There wasn't initially some positive press around our internship opportunities, and the company took about a 10-year hiatus on having an internship program. So something that came out through our new recruiting function was wanting to bring it back and transition the organization's mindset into a development first and potential first hiring perspective. So we just launched our year 2 of our internship program. Applications opened up yesterday, and they'll stay open for the next couple of weeks. So just kind of wanted to mention that as well.
Great, thank you for that, Arian. Does anybody else want to chime in on this? What's going on? Michael, I see you. What's going on at Dassault?
Yeah, so we have a couple of really great things coming. We launched our first inclusion and diversity series for NAM, the NAM Geo, last year. And it was a 5-week series, so we're going to be continuing that. We're probably starting the first week in April, and again, highlighting each of the 5 pillars for diversity. So that's coming up, as well as what Arian said, we're going to have our interns coming back, and it's been a little bit less in the last couple of years with the pandemic, so really looking forward to a robust internship this year. And we also have a Rise Up program, similar to what Janet was talking about before with internal training, but the Rise Up program, which is predominantly for the women in the organization, but there are some men in the group as well. They're going to be gearing up for another round of that. I'm getting a little tongue tired today, I apologize. Giving people the opportunities for further training and developing, coaching, and providing them with opportunities so they can move up within the organization. So I think those are 3 key things that are going to be coming up over the spring season.
Great, thank you so much, Michael. Now I do see we've got a bunch of people in the chat asking questions about, what roles are open. One thing that I want to highlight for all of you is to navigate back to the virtual job fair landing page. I'm going to share my screen with y'all here so you can see what I'm talking about. So what I recommend is that if you're interested in basic information about the companies, right? So let's say you want to know, do you have any job openings in data entry? Do you have any job openings in marketing? Where, that kind of thing. I recommend that you go into the virtual job fair landing page, that main page. If you click on the various company names, that will pull up the option to see their FAQs or search their open roles. Like I said, you can search them. It'll come up with a huge list first, but you can filter. So I definitely recommend doing that. And let's see, people that are asking about remote postings, all of that kind of good stuff. Let's see if we can do a popcorn round of this for our employers here. What do people need to know about looking at jobs? Like, are remote roles labeled remote? Is there like a code word that they need to know when they're looking at stuff? And let's talk about hiring. Can you hire, international candidates? Can you only hire from within the continental US? Do you have to be located in the place where the role is, located to apply for a remote role in that, in that section? Would anybody want to start us off? We truly just need like a super high level, like, yes, we have remote roles. No, we can't hire international, whatever you guys got going on. Michael, you want to start us off?
Sure. I'll say it depends. Ask the recruiter that you talk to. Some roles we can easily do immigration and mobility on, some we cannot. I don't have a lot of it in finance, but somebody in a software engineering group, might have that. So don't be afraid to ask the question. Always ask the recruiter for the feedback and follow up on that. And remote, ask about remote as well. We're in a hybrid right now, which is 3 days a week in the office, 2 days a week remote, but some of our positions, like some of our field sales positions, they're all remote. So again, anytime you can get somebody live that you don't have an answer to your question, push the recruiter for that, on your questions.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much, Michael. Anyone else want to talk about high level what recruiting looks like, international remote roles, what that looks like at your various companies? Ariane, you want to go?
Yeah, sure, Meg. So our internship, I see some questions in the chat. It is US based only at the moment. They're for incoming juniors and seniors, and then the idea is that they'll get offers to return full time once they graduate. Pockets of the business do hire fully remote. Our tech teams are hiring fully remote as an overall organization. We are all remote at the moment. We're starting our return to office this coming Monday. We'll be in the office 2 to 3 days a week. Each team's a little bit flexible. So that's what it looks like. If you're interested in international opportunities, I invite you to our career page. It's broken down by region, and you can see the local jobs for every market that we're in.
Excellent. Cool. Thank you so much. Any of the other companies want to comment on this before we can move into breakouts?
I can comment. Similar to Dassault Systems and Conde, we're very remote friendly for a lot of different functional areas. Some folks are working in a hybrid situation, and it just depends. Our entire sales force works remotely out there in the field. And as far as immigration, so the panel that's here right now, we're all US based, but we have a huge presence globally, and especially in Canada. And it just depends on the group. IT, actuarial, there's a lot of that immigration activity that does happen. So it just depends on the situation.